Hello, viewers. Thank you for joining us today. We are pleased to present our collaborative research project titled, Does the U.S. Debt Ceiling Crisis Affect Companies Exporting to the U.S. Market? Using the case study of Unilever's trading risk and mitigating strategies. And soon after this time, each member of the team would be introducing themselves and their contributions on this research project. I worked on crafting the research title and abstract by linking it to Unilever, ensuring that they accurately reflected the scope and impact of our study. My goal was to frame the key themes, highlight the most important statistics and findings upfront to capture your attention. I handled the introduction, setting the context for why this research matters, especially for companies like Unilever. I gathered data on Unilever's US exposure and explained how recurring US debt ceiling crises have created uncertainty for global exporters. Over to you, Mayowa, with the problem statement and research questions.
Thank you, Femi. My name is Mayowa. My focus was on defining the core problem and formulating the research questions. I explore real-world challenges such as delayed payments and trade barriers aim to connect this directly with Unilever financial exposure, which give us the problem statement and research questions. I was also able to be responsible for the critical literature review. I analyzed the academic theory and real-world data on fiscal crisis, payment delay, risk mitigation. I compared expert views from Krugman, IMF, OECD, and others to frame the theoretical foundation for our studies. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Marawa. Hello, everyone. My name is Samuel. My task was to design the methodology session, so I identified credible data sources, including IMF reports, Unilever's 10K filings, and peer-reviewed journals. I also ensured that our approach to data selection and evaluation was both rigorous and transparent. I also focused on the results sections, translating data into meaningful insights. This included analyzing FX volatility, revenue exposure, and qualitative supplier response. I also helped with visualizing findings and to reflect tangible impact on Unilever's operation. Over to you, Temi.
Thank you, Samuel. Hello, everyone. My name is Temitope. I led the interpretation of our findings, linking them back to our research questions and existing literature. I also highlighted the practical implications for businesses like Unilever and evaluated how existing risk models hold up in today's volatile fiscal climate. Over to you, Adesola.
Thank you, Temi. Hello, everyone. My name is Adesola. My role was to draw actionable conclusions and develop strategic recommendations. This includes expanding hedging tools, adopting blockchain, and diversifying markets. I focused on ensuring our research provides real value to firms navigating similar risk. Also, I concluded my presentation by summarizing the research impact and identifying areas for future investigations, such as early warning systems and ESG-based hedging. My goal was to reinforce the importance of preparedness in the face of fiscal uncertainty. Thank you. Over to you, Femi.
Thank you, Adesola. Okay, so now I'll be starting off by introducing our research. Our project asked a simple but important question. Does the US debt ceiling crisis affect companies that export to the US market? Now, we looked at this through the case of Unilever, a global company that makes products like Dove, Lipton, and Vaseline. Now, Unilever earns over $10 billion every year from the US. So any problem in the US economy can have a big impact on its business. When the US government reaches its debt ceiling, meaning it can't borrow more money, it creates a fiscal crisis, and this causes uncertainty, currency fluctuations, and delayed payments. Now, we wanted to find out, number one, how much does this hurt exporters like Unilever? Secondly, what can companies do to reduce the risk? Mayowa, over to you, please.
Thank you, Femi. I will be explaining what problem we are solving regarding the Unilever. Unilever is exposed to many risks during the US debt ceiling crisis. They have about 61% of distributors delayed payments. Also, the US dollar becomes unstable with up to 12% currency swing. Also, consumers' confidence drops in Unilever and the barrier increase. Yet, many companies, including Unilever, still don't have strong system in place to manage this problem. Our goal was to evaluate Unilever trading risks and suggest ways to manage them. We asked 2 research questions. Question 1 we asked was, how has the US debt ceiling crisis affected Unilever exports? And number 2, what strategies can help reduce the risk in the future? Over to you, Sam.
Yeah, I'll now talk about how we did the research. We used secondary data, meaning we didn't collect new interviews or surveys. Instead, we analyzed. So we analyzed Unilever's annual reports. We also analyzed data from IMF, OECD, and WTO. We also did research from Scopus Science Direct and Web of Science. Over to you, Temi.
Thank you, Samuel. Our findings from these research projects were very clear in the sense that Unilever lost up to $487 million in one quarter because of the currency swings. Also, that 14% higher logistic costs were recorded. 92% of suppliers demanded stricter payment terms like letters of credit and so on. Even though Unilever's brand is strong, it only cushioned 22% of the demand shock in the sense that technologies like blockchain helped reduce delays by 41 days. Over to you, Adesola.
Thank you, Temi. Now, I'll explain what our results mean and what we recommend. The research shows that debt ceiling crises are dangerous for exporters. Even a big company like Unilever cannot avoid the effects, especially since it relies heavily on the US market. So what can be done? We recommend that Unilever use more hedging to protect against currency risks. We want them to adopt predictive analysis to prepare for crisis early. Also, they need to expand blockchain use to reduce payment delays and diversify into markets so as not to overly depend on the US. There are some practical steps that Unilever can take and similar companies so they can become more resilient. To wrap this up, the US debt ceiling crisis has real consequences for exporters. Unilever alone faces $2.4 billion in risk during each crisis. Our research proves that these companies must take threats seriously. Traditional and financial models often underestimate political and economic risks. Going forward, businesses should improve their risk management tools, use technology and data analytics, and plan for volatility, and not just hoping that it won't happen. We believe this research helps experts to see the bigger picture and take actions before the next crisis hits. Thank you. And now we've come to the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.